1.
Oops, didn't fix that from last week. Let me fix that now.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, that was a side shot of our guest. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to IFB, Interfleet Broadcasting. Everybody should know that it's our pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel. And it's brought to you by two guys that grew up watching 70s, 80s TV, movies, cartoons as our foundation. I'm New York Pete, and this is my buddy Chris, the Tipsy Toaster, bringing you IFB. And Chris, we have a guest in the wings. He's come back to grace us again, and we're going to talk about a very particular
He was
movie.
crazy enough to come back, yeah.
Yes, and we are grateful for that. We'd promised to bring him back, and here it is. And we're going to be talking about the 40th anniversary of The Thing. And they had a special screening for it, and actually NECA released a figure, the poster figure, from the poster of The Thing, which is kind of cool. I don't know if Chris is going to be able to pull that up later, but it's like the Kurt Russell like exclusive figure. It's really cool for those that collect. But Von Babasin is with us, the maven of the film and music industry. That's a quote from an article published a couple of years ago. And he's been involved in a lot of different aspects of movie making, particularly special effects and props and things. And he did tell us that he was involved in making the Cylons from our beloved 1978 Battlestar Galactica. And he's back.
A Cylon maker.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? I know Chris is still all, loving that part of things. But thanks for tuning in, guys. The usual suspects. Let's see. Carl is with us. Hey, Carl, and Chris Laskowski from Australia, and Roots Lion is with us. Thanks for joining. As you guys come on, I'll actually give you your shout outs. And good day, everyone. Good day to you, Chris. So yeah, as you come up, Sean Shallow from Battlestar Bulletin Board. Thanks, Sean, for joining with us here tonight. If you have any questions for Von Babasin and The Thing, please put those out. And we just want to make sure I thank everybody for watching us in syndication, right? So we're live now. So anyone that's watching us right this minute is obviously on live with us. And then anything after that is going to be our rerun aspect. And we've been lucky enough that we garner in the tens of thousands to come and watch our videos around the world. Thank you so much for that. And hey, we're going to have a nice show. We're going to discuss all kinds of cool sci-fi
Paul's
stuff.
Listening at work, so make sure you tell everybody at work there, Paul, to gather around and listen.
Put the word out. That's right. Hey, Paul, Commander Keen, Battlestar, big time BSG fan, and known in all the communities as Commander Kane. And he's founded and admin on a lot of different groups on the Facebook and social networking, especially the Colonial Warriors. So, hey, Paul, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you coming out, taking the time out. And let's see. All right, so let's get our toast out of the way, Chris.
Toast.
All
right, what you got?
Yeah, I got Space Camper, and it's Major Volta. Here, take a look at this. This was
Boulevard Brewing Company.
Yeah, that's right. So you'd pick this up,
yep.
But I think we still have some sponsors, right?
Yeah.
Fran, one of our guests and supporters. That we've actually you've been to convention with, so Fran Severn.
Yep, hopefully get some of that footage out soon.
Yeah, Fran and Brigitte in Austria, and David Alexander, thank you for treating us to the toasts tonight, to our beverages. Really appreciate it. And yes, Paul says he's raising the Felger carb. You bet you are. So keep up the good work.
I'm ready. You ready for mine?
Yeah, let's see. What do you got?
This is going to be interesting for me. I never, I have, but I haven't. It's been a long time, so I'm trying
goat
a
milk.
raspberry
Krabbies.
alcoholic ginger beer.
Oh boy,
Krabby's raspberry alcoholic ginger beer.
Where's
Scottish
that manufactured?
Raspberry flavor. Huh?
Whoa, what is
Scotland.
that?
Edinburgh.
It's chemicals. You should put some chemicals in that.
Real ginger steeped for up to 6 weeks. Scottish raspberry flavored. Bottled internationally United Kingdom.
Okay.
Let's do
it. Okay.
Ready?
You ready? Okay. Okay.
I think I like the best part of it is I like the color of the cap.
Raspberry.
Raspberry
All right.
colored.
Let's pour this out, man. Come on.
Cool looking. It's got our background colors in it.
It does.
All right, ready?
One of your favorite colors. Yeah, go. Hear that? Okay. Looking good.
Ooh, it's ginger.
All right. Nah, you don't mind. Why don't you just put some pepper in that? You'll be fine.
Some hot sauce.
And hot sauce.
Ooh,
Peppers
raspberry.
And hot sauce.
Wow. Okay. Get us both on the screen here.
Is it going to taste like candy?
It smells like candy.
But it's not going to taste like candy.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
All right. It foamed up enough to where it's already down to half a cup. Hang on.
Oh, come on. Put some of that. Is it red? Oh, it's red. I think it is red. Oh, boy. I hope it tastes like one of those, what was that? The tart candy. That's what I hope it tastes like.
You know, leave it to England 11.2 fluid ounces. Didn't fill up my mug. That's disappointing.
You can complain to the Queen.
Yes.
She is, you just let her know, okay? Send her a message.
Doggone it. Damn, England pint, I guess. I don't know what that size is. It's 330 milliliters.
That's special, dude. Anyway, so maybe one
of the England or actually one of the Australian guys can tell me what a pint is in England or Australia, because it must be 330 milliliters. Because it's pretty small. It didn't fill up my cup, unfortunately.
Well, that's because you have an American cup. What's your problem, man?
Yeah.
That's right.
But if you were get along with the English imported ginger beer, we'll find out.
We'll find out. That's right.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, right. Anyway, well, let's do our toast. We always want to recognize the fans, right, Chris? Because without the fans, we wouldn't have the genres, we wouldn't have the great shows, movies, and everything else that we all love. So, we'd have a show because it'd be just you and me talking, but we appreciate everybody, tuning in as well.
That it is. And all the toy makers and all the other stuff that wouldn't be making toys for us.
That's right. And comic books.
But tonight's special night, so we're going to be celebrating The Thing for the 40th anniversary. So here's to the fans of all genres, and especially to those who have watched and enjoyed The Thing. So, fans, feel the fleet. Here's to you.
Here's to you guys. Yep. Ooh. Oh, that's good. Major Volta. Oh, that tastes good. I like that. I think I've had that before. Oh, what? It's sweet. Tell me it's sweet.
Well, this is really sweet. It's really good.
It's sweet, like sweet Kool-Aid, or
like,
what?
It's like a like a sweet tart, a raspberry sweet tart.
Mm. Oh, that's good then.
It's good.
Hey, Chris, when you get a chance, can you check my audio, because it looks like I'm spiking out. I just want to make sure it's not getting too loud. Somewhere, one of us, either you or me, it's probably me.
I think it's you.
If you get a chance, yeah. So
there we go.
Just adjust that.
I don't want to
blow. All right, cool.
That's right, Pete. I turned you down. Sorry.
Yeah, whatever, man. What else is new? So, The Thing and the 40th anniversary. I just wanted to. I didn't know this, Chris, but writer John W. Campbell Jr. Wrote a novella, and it was called "Who Goes There" in 1938, and
Hmm.
that's where the thing comes from. And so tonight we're gonna revisit at and explore the 40th anniversary
Of John
of the
Carpenter's. Yep.
John Carpenter's 1982 The Thing, starring Kurt Russell. And we have with us Von Babasin, who worked on the actual movie, and he's going to tell us all the great things that he had done with it specifically. And remember that we had Von on previously, but we're going to focus on the 40th anniversary of The Thing, which is really, really cool. And if we're lucky, maybe we can get him to show us some of his personal stuff. I know last time after we aired, he'd showed us his crew jacket. So I'm hoping that he might have it and we get to see the crew jacket, which is actually a major collector's item. So anyway, I'm stoked. I'm ready for him. So if Chris, you press the buttons,
I'll press the
let's
button.
bring him
Hopefully
on.
let me hang on for a second. I'll press the button
All
in
right, hey,
one
let's go.
second.
Hang on.
I
All
always
right.
got a second there because I never make sure this works, but we're going to find out in a second.
Okay. All right.
Yep,
So
I need to hook that back up.
There I am.
there
There you
you
are.
Vaughn. Welcome to
Can
the
you
show,
hear
man.
me?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can. Thanks for coming. And
All right.
yeah, it is so cool. We had touched upon some of the highlights of your career last time you came on with us, and it was awesome. And this time, since it was going to be the 40th anniversary of the thing, and there was a special release, and you were going to be involved in it, we said, "Come back to us," and here we are. So, what was it like? Tell us a little bit about your role, and let's get into the movie.
Well, let me start by saying thanks for having me on again. I love being here. Um, but last weekend, the thing broke into the top 10 at the box office.
Isn't that
How
hilarious?
awesome is
That's
that?
amazing.
A 40-year-old film on the big screen and it breaks through. I love that.
Even after all the critics had said it was a crap.
Exactly. Yes. Sweet revenge.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think that's so darn cool. It's just I'm so happy for John and Dean, even though it comes 40 years too late. It's
Yeah.
just wonderful that they're getting this. It's so cool.
And they did they did replays at a lot of the theaters.
Yeah.
There were some problems with the replays. I guess they sent where they were streaming at the theater the wrong format.
Aspect.
Yeah, aspect ratio.
Wrong aspect ratio, and there were a lot of angry fans.
Yeah. But they're still playing it out
back.
there, so they fixed that, and they're still playing it. So you actually go on there and type in the thing and find it at your local theaters. They are playing it still. So I know they're playing one here in DC. I'm going to try to go to it.
Sure. Yeah, well, there's all around the world. UK had events. Australia, there were events. Canada, of course, all the way across all the Cineplex Odeum complexes. And they're going to do that again. They're going to have a series of events in October as well. And they're going to replay that little clip they made with Dean and I. So that's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's kind of cool. So, Vaughn, did you actually get to see, like, did you go out? How does something like this play out for you? Do you actually sneak into a theater, or what how does that play?
Well, these were in Canada, so it's a little far for me. Now,
I was hoping
4 years ago.
I was hoping, Vaughn, they said that they Learjet you out to one of these.
Well, that's what I was going to say. 4 years ago, they actually did. They flew me out to
Whoa.
London,
wow.
Ontario, Canada, for a Comic-Con. And they put me up for 5 days and nights, and all expenses paid.
Oh.
And it was beautiful. It was a wonderful experience. And I sat on the main couch, center stage, with Dean Cundy. Oh, my gosh. This is just such an amazing experience for me. The whole genre, the whole everything in my life is so cool from this. I love it.
That is
Dean's
so
such a
cool.
wonderful guy too, so it's very special.
I can't believe all the negative press that came out on this movie. I mean, they tore it up.
They
They
really
even,
did.
was it what's the heck?
Cinema
Fantastic.
Fantastique.
Cinema Fantastique said it was competing for the worst film ever.
That's really harsh, and it's a
Yeah,
really
no
good.
kidding.
That magazine has quite the reputation. They do in-depth interviews. They really get into. It's not just one of those frivolous magazines. I'm very, very disappointed in that. I did not catch it when that came out then, because I used to read a lot of it. I have many issues in my collection, but I mean, it's an opinion, just like everything else. Vaughn, what does it feel like looking back now, 40 years later? What's your
It's
take?
total vindication, of course. I mean, it's so amazing. There are many people that pick it now as the best horror film of all time. And if they don't think it's the best, it's certainly in their top 5. And that to me is just 40 years. True art withstands the test of time.
Right.
And so great artists are rarely recognized in their lifetimes. They're usually long past history is looking back and seeing how wonderful their genius truly was, even if they lived like paupers in their
Yeah.
in their lifetimes.
Right.
But what was it like? So you worked on the film back then, and then all these people came out and said they hated it. How did that make you feel? Being one of the people behind the scenes, you're like, oh my gosh, is this going to scar my career or what?
No, I didn't. As a matter of fact, this was a turning point in my career anyway, because after the thing, things started to go to CGI, and
Right.
all of my practical, it was all in practical effects. It's my history and my learning, so I wasn't really a computer savvy guy. So, and that's when Universal I talked about that last time I was here, where they changed over to go to picking up the distribution rights for other production companies to foot the bill for production and then just distributing it for them. So they were cutting back all of their crews, just bare bones skeleton crews left on the lot. Whereas when I was first hired, it was just teaming everything. Oh my gosh. I was what they called a 30-day wonder, because they had nobody left on the books, on the union books. So they had to have people, and they had to have people now. So when they got their first 30 days, they became an instant 1 card. I didn't have to go through a 3 card or a 2 card. I just went straight to 1 card, which, the old timers really didn't like that very much, but sorry.
Tough luck.
Sorry about that, guys. I worked my ass off to get there, though. So I earned my spot, that's for sure. And that's why, my first movie was Airport 77. And that was 5 months, my first 5 months on the lot at 21 years old. I worked the principal photography special effects crew of Airport 77, which was amazing. And the day I got off of that, I went on to Jaws 2. So I was a 30-day wonder who got to go on the most lucrative location that the studio had to offer anyone. The 7 months location in Florida on Jaws 2 was like, that was the gem for any craft service man to have gotten. And they called me and asked for me by name, baby. We loaded the trucks. We loaded the trucks with all the sharks and all the equipment and the platform and everything, and they took off, and they went to Martha's Vineyard. And they weren't required to have a craft serviceman on the crew. So they didn't take me. I didn't get to go to Martha's Vineyard. But that was about a 3-week location. And so then from there, they moved it all down to Navarre Beach, Florida. And Florida's whatever the union rules are there had to be 1 representative of every union before there could be local hires. So they called for me by name, baby. My boss came up to me at 3:30 in the afternoon and said, "Do you want to go to Florida?" And I said, "Can I have a day to think about it?" And he said, "No." And I said, okay. And he said, okay, pack for 2.5 weeks. I was there for 7 months.
Wow.
Laundromat.
I had to have 8 hours in between my shift. So I punched out at 3:30. So at 11:30 at night, a limousine came out to my little house in Pacoima and picked me up and drove me to LAX. And there was, I think, a camera assistant and myself were the only 2 crew people on the plane going to Florida. And they flew us out. And I think that was the day that I was on the clock for 37 hours.
Oh boy.
And they didn't realize it. They like worked me all day. And then they said, wait, are you still on the clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Ka-ching.
I wasn't saying anything about it. Hey, what the heck? So anyway, enough of Jaws. That was Jaws. that got
wow,
me.
that's so cool.
That got me hooked. It was just the most amazing experience for me, you know. And by the thing, I was a seasoned veteran. I had gone through many productions and TV. Oh, I wanted to add one more silly story that's one of my favorite of all times. I was sweeping up the floor in the mill in the special effects shop, and there was a prop man that came running in, and he looked at me and he looked down at my feet and he said, "How big are your feet?" And I said, 13. And he said, okay, go to the staff shop right now. I'll tell your boss where you are. Go. And so I just, split, went to the staff shop, and then the staff shop is where they make all the molds. So this is kind of where Botine would work if he was just working on a crew. Working on the lot. So I went there, and they made plaster casts of my feet to make plaster feet for tracks for the Hulk, for the Incredible Hulk. I provided the footprint for Lou Ferrigno. Yes, I did.
Yes.
And so, like on the first one, the pilot, and they're chasing him through the swamps, and they come up and they go, "Look at the size of that! That's my foot, baby."
Love it. Oh, that's so cool, man.
There's information that you won't get anywhere else.
Oh man, that is so cool.
It was so fun. I really loved that. And unfortunately, I don't have them anymore. The effects guy, Richard Lee.
You don't have your feet anymore?
No, when they shut the show down, of course, Richard presented me with the feet.
No.
And they were just these 2 big old plaster feet with handles, and they were marked R and L.
Nice.
And unfortunately, through many moves, I've lost them now, and I don't have them anymore. But that would be, I wish I still had those babies.
That would be cool.
Oh, that would be really funny. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool.
That was a special memory. So anyway, okay, enough of that. Now let's get to the thing.
We love it. We love all this stuff. That's why it's so cool when you come on. You're like, talk about the best of all the movies that were out there. Vaughn, I remember I went to see The Thing in the movie theater. I was a teenager. And at the time there was plenty of good sci-fi that was out there. And, a lot of us remembered the old black and white. And this was awesome. I remember seeing it and I was like, wow, that was excellent. That was like, you left the movie theater and your head was still kind of spinning. And like, or you go with your friends we loved it. I gotta be honest with you. I gotta tell you that I didn't remember it as being less than a good, if not, better than good. And let's not ham it up to great, but The Thing, we went to the movies and it was like, holy mackerel, this was a great movie. We were all talking about it. And, so this idea that there was, amongst the masses, some kind of negativity, whatever, there was no internet. So I don't know, I guess somewhere out there, people were saying stuff, maybe the older people that went to the movie theater, but there was definitely an appeal, Vaughn. And you could see the effort that went into it, at the time that a lot of the special effects that were there in the movie were pretty, they were like cutting edge. It was like, wow, it looked realistic for an alien, a monster, and you're in the middle of nowhere and all that stuff. But what was your take on it? Being there, day to day working. There were a couple of things that I wanted you to mention. One is obviously you were on set, you did location stuff. Did you ever get to meet and work with Kurt Russell?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I was there for every interior shot that was made on the motion picture, whether it was the main compound that was on stage 27 or the flying saucer that was under the Blair shack.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the when we first started shooting, we were on stage 4, and they had brought in an ice floor, an ice skating rink floor, so they could maintain the ice structure. I had sent you a picture that was really cool with Dean Cundy overlooking that shot. But it's
Right.
the chunk of ice that they cut out of, and bring back to the Norwegian camp, the actual creature. And of course, it's melted out in the middle of that. Um, I had talked about how John was really kind of disappointed with that shot, actually, because there was no place in LA that made a singular block of ice as big as we wanted it, because he
Oh,
really wanted, it, theoretically, if you cut out a chunk of ice like that, it's going to be one solid piece. And if
right.
you look at the picture that I had sent, you can see, there was only one size that they made, and they had to kind of piece that. Yeah, see, there it is. You can see
Oh,
that those are, you can see those are like ice cubes, kind of all stuck together. You see how
right, right.
there's
Yeah, yeah,
dimension
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in them? And
yeah.
he was really, they couldn't do anything to try to melt them together and make it look continuous. It just unfortunate. He was really disappointed in that. And that's a critique that probably doesn't come up very often either in conversation.
So
Um,
he actually does look upset there.
but I mean, you look at it and it does. I mean, that's the first thing my eye goes to, because I'm so aware of that. And
Oh,
I knew
wow.
John was bummed about that, but there was, of all the different ice houses that were in LA, nobody made a chunk of ice that large. So what do you
So
know?
Vaughn, in that picture there, it looks like a giant refrigeration unit. Is it or isn't it?
Okay, well, not really. Like I said, there is an ice floor underneath that is maintaining the ice structure, but
Okay.
that's the only thing that's really refrigerated.
Oh
All the
man.
icicles and everything, those are all fiberglass.
Oh my
The
Oh
gosh.
snow,
wow.
yeah, the snow is all flocking. That's all sprayed on. Again, I had described the way we put misters up in the air,
Yeah.
wired them up to the permanents up in the permanents there, so we could introduce fine mist into the air, and then put air conditioning units outside of the set. See, we're kind of enclosed in the set right there, but if you walk outside of that wall, you see the bright light coming in the windows. If you go on
Yeah.
the other side of that wall, you're on just the stage. It's just the stage and the stage wall, and so that's where
That's
they would
cool.
put air conditioning units. We would stack as many as we could and run them all night to try to chill down the stage enough to where it would be acceptable. It would look like they were actually
Yeah,
in
and
freezing
the stage is
temperatures.
is huge.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's 27.
Okay.
We were in a smaller stage on that last shot, but it's still effectively the same thing. The permanence, you can see the grid where those lights are very huge. I can't even, I'm not sure exactly how high that is up there, but it's like 30, 50 feet up high.
Wow.
And
And the
and
lights are
those,
the lights are generating a lot of heat.
well, those are the house lights.
Okay.
Those are just, those aren't the real lights.
Okay.
What they do, the permanents, you hang what they call grip beds from the permanents, and those will hang down about halfway down above your whole set, above all the walls that are built of your set. Then their grip beds hang just above all of that entire set structure, and that's where they'll mount lights that point down into the set. Grip beds are used for just a variety of different things, and it's like a catwalk too. So you
Okay.
just walk all around above the set, I had mentioned in the Tony Caesar thing the three full body burns. I saw the third body burn from the grip beds. So I saw it from
Oh,
above looking down. It was really nice.
oh
But
wow.
you wish we had phones like we did back
Oh,
then, so you could sit there and hit
yeah.
record.
Yeah, well, you see, again, they probably would have confiscated all of our phones on the
Yeah.
thing
Oh
because
yeah.
they
Put it in
didn't
the
want
box. Put it
anything
in the
to get
box.
leaked. Yeah. That was another thing. Probably, maybe there was such a mystique and such a hype that had been built because they didn't want any pictures to get out. And fandom knew that. They were almost resentful of that because, I showed you the pin that I had to wear to gain access to the set. So there was very little stuff that was being leaked out. And people didn't like that. They wanted to see what was going on, because Rob
Yeah.
Bottin, and yeah, of course, this was the biggest special effects makeup budget in history at that time.
Oh wow!
So
Wow.
it was over $3 million just for the makeup effects, and from what I understand, it like went double, I think, but
Oh
I'm not
wow.
really. Don't quote me on that, but but it
We
was yeah. That's
Chris
why
and
it was
I.
so overwhelming for Bottin at 23. To have all this money and the pretty much unlimited ability to do whatever came to his mind. That's I want to get into that with Heartland as well. I saw that Heartland thing coming up, liking it.
Yeah, we Chris and I were like we did a little pre-screening on our own, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, man. It had been a while, you don't kind of we hadn't I personally hadn't watched it in a while. I've seen it multiple times, but I was watching it again today, and I was like, wow, that's
Yeah, you
it's
watched some of
still
this, some of the what do you call it,
the se-
the special
it
effects,
was,
the
yeah, it's
modeling,
towards the end.
the
Yeah,
robot, it looks like robotronics or electronics. It's just amazing.
it's incredible though. It was good. I mean, I was like, I felt like I was tense and I was in it, and it just took me right back. And I was like, okay, these guys are on this remote location, and it's playing out. And I don't know. I thought it was good. I liked it. I liked it. It stands up. It stands up. Sometimes things get campy. Vaughn. Sometimes you watch a movie after many, many years, decades, and it's like it gets campy. This was not, man. This was not. I think it stands to the time. The test of time. I think it stands up to it. When was the last time you watched it,
Oh,
Vaughn? Vaughn, did we lose you? I think Vaughn has frozen on us. Hey, Chris, what can you do to see if we can reboot our guest, Vaughn Babasin, who is going to get into some of the animatronics, Chris Laskowski. That's right, it's the animatronics. But Vaughn Babasin's going to get into a little bit more of, I guess, not so much the technical, but he's going to start bringing us into more of the world of the thing and behind the scenes, and talk about different aspects of creating those various props and special effects, and what we got to see. I don't know if you guys have actually seen it. Like I just mentioned a little while ago, the Tipsy Toaster and I, we were doing a private screening, and I think it looks great. I hope you guys are going to get out there and watch it again. I highly recommend. I mean, I've seen it several times, actually. I mean, it's 40 years, so how could you not? As a matter of fact, I read an article that stated that it's streaming on Peacock. So for those of you that have the Peacock app, you can catch the thing. And of course, we are doing a special today. It's the 40th anniversary of the thing from 1982, starring Kurt Russell. And Frozen got kicked. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I think I don't know. We're working magic, trying to get our guest back on. A
just
momentary
you can
glitch.
hear me. Just reboot.
Yeah. But other than that, I'll tell you guys, it's really cool. We're gonna go through some more pictures that we weren't able to get to at our last interview. So Vaughn Babasin is has come back, and we're happy to have him on board. And we're discussing The Thing in depth as its 40th anniversary release, and it did really, really well in the box office for a 40-year-old movie. A lot of the fans went out, and it's going to be done again. So Von Babasin told us that it's coming back in the fall. So later on in the year, of course, 2022, there's going to be another limited release. So for those of us that want to get out there and get into the movie theater, I think it's a good excuse to go out and see it. Yes, Roots Lion watching Burn from the Rafters. Yeah, man, there's some really cool. We got to watch. Tipsy and I were watching. The end part of it, and there's a lot of stuff going on. It's emotional, yelling and screaming, and the creatures getting burned. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. So make sure that you guys stay aware that and on top of the fact that we are going back to our live Thursdays. We had a little bit of a glitch, but we're back. Today's a special edition, kind of like a makeup, but we are definitely going to be back on Thursdays. We're going to have more footage from Awesome Con,
Yeah,
right?
the key is
So
don't let your boss pick your hotel.
yes. I'd like him to discuss the ending. It was a mystery. That's from Lola. Lola, thanks for joining us, man. Yeah, you know what? I will definitely
he's
bring
back.
that up.
And we're
Okay,
back.
we'll mention that, and we'll make sure that we get into that a bit. But yeah, so make sure you tune in. We definitely have more, and I know that Vaughn will be back again in the future. This is not the last time we see Vaughn on IFB, and which is cool. All right, Vaughn. Hey, so we
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Sorry about that.
lower the
that's
speed down a
okay.
little bit
Yeah,
because you've
take
got a
care of
bad
business,
connection. Looks
Chris.
like.
And these are the trials and tribulations of the digital age. We're not all on one speed, but that's okay. We can work with that. So Vaughn, you're back.
Yeah.
We were
Drop it to that one
we
first
were
to see if that helps.
talking about the sets and the stage, and we talked about the that one particular scene was the ice scene, and then I think you were gonna give us some more insights on how this all comes together.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
It's gonna look really fuzzy on your end. I lowered the broadcast back to you to
Okay.
save some of your bandwidth because it looks like you
Yeah.
got a bad connection.
I'm.
But we're good.
I don't know.
We
what
got you.
there. It's anyway. Okay. All right. Yeah. We were talking ice the way it didn't live and was upset at. But we got funny thing of a particular day that was so fun. Inside the tram that drove by, and every time we would and come walking out of the stage, all of our parkas, and it was 100 plus sand at that time. Everybody in the tram, all in all their shorts and little stuff, and walking out of our.
Yeah.
our
Yvonne, your
parkas.
sound is breaking up pretty bad. I've
Oh, is
done all
it
I
really?
can. You gotta
I'm
move closer
straight.
to the internet. We lost him.
Oh, we lost them again. That's okay. So we'll work through this. Nonetheless, we will end up one way or the other. We'll work around this, but I definitely also want to make sure that we get Lola's question in at some point. Chris, there was some cool stuff, some pictures that he sent up that we want to try to get up, and maybe we can have him also comment. Right, there was some things that he had sent you, so we'll see if we can get those into play at some point as well. And yeah, guys, I mean, look, bottom line is, these little glitches, they happen, and
This is what
they're
happens when you go on live.
yeah, that's right. And it's out of our control, but thanks for tuning in nonetheless. You guys that have been around for a while, you know that we've experienced
This is why I
a
drink.
wide variety of a wide variety of issues, but that's okay. We end up working around them.
Yeah.
But remember, we have a bunch of other things going on as well at IFB, and we have Paragon coming on.
Yeah, next week.
We're gonna have
Paragon.
Yep.
That's
That's
hopefully
right. That's this week.
he had stated on his email he was going to try to get some pictures of some prototypes. So if you don't know,
Yes.
Paragon is the one who now has the contract for all of the Battlestar Galactica. What do you call it? Props, I guess. I mean,
Props, yeah, but that's
yeah.
not the only the license they have. They have license for Knight Rider
Oh yeah, they have
and a bunch
all
of
the sorts of
other.
licenses. So
Yeah, yeah. So they're coming. We're gonna have the 501. We're gonna have Galacti Frac from France is coming on.
that's
There's
2 weeks from now. Yep, or
yep.
two
We're
weeks from
gonna have
Thursday.
another prop, another costume designer coming on.
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna have an actor and stunt woman who worked on Galactica
Oh, I
and
can't wait
other
for that one.
things.
I'm going to
So
pull up the videos
Maureen
for those, and
Lynn Fields is
she can talk
coming.
us through those. That
Oh
would be
yeah,
so
and
much
then of
fun.
course a bunch of authors and professors. We have Raposo, author John Raposo. He's going to be on. We haven't confirmed, and there's a couple of others in the wings. And
Yep,
I
looks like Vaughn's back.
think yes, Fawn's back. All right, so get him up. It's enough talking that we're the talking heads here. Nobody wants to hear us. Let's hear Vaughn.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh boy.
Oh, you're
it's
All
much
all
right.
better
you.
now.
Is it working now?
Oh, yeah, you're
Yes,
much
it
better
is.
now. I don't know what you did
It looks
different.
like, yeah. Well, I reset my modem, so
Oh,
hopefully
there we
that'll
go.
help.
Was the ON OFF switch in the OFF position?
I just
I,
unplugged it and plugged it back in.
There you go. That
All right.
works.
Vaughn Babasin.
Okay.
I can blow up a building, but I can't get on the internet. Not my
Easy
fault.
now,
It's
easy.
it's the internet's fault.
Now, I've been on the internet since 1996 when it was
Wow.
only a 28.8 modem.
Yeah,
Oh
I remember
boy.
56,
Real audio samples that would
48.
take 2 hours to download
33,
a
yep.
20-second sample.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was murder. Anyway, all right,
Where were
let's
we?
go. Let's not worry where we were. Let's go to somewhere else. I wanted to tell my helicopter story. You deserve
Yes,
that.
of course.
I haven't told that to anyone yet, and I think you guys deserve it.
Awesome.
This is how I met John Carpenter. That's what I call this story. When we first got approached in July to do this thing,
To do the thing.
We started a pre-production kind of a trial and error experiment, and the idea was Roy Arbogast and I think John Lloyd helped him, the production designer. Anyway, these two guys collaborated and talked John Carpenter into doing this. What we did is for 3.5 weeks, our crew went to the back lot above the dump.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we had, you could have no skyline in the back above the mountains. So you had to go to the highest point at Universal, so there was nothing in the back. What we were going to try to do here is recreate Antarctica above the dump in the back lot at Universal. So we muslined the hillside in, which, white muslin sheeting, covered the entire hillside, and took 100-pound bags of white gypsum and covered all the linen with gypsum. So we had a white snow-covered mountaintop. And amongst those were put fiberglass rocks from the staff shop to make it look more like Antarctica, I guess, whatever. But as staff shop rocks are, you have to convince the camera, so you just have to see them from one side to make them look good. So the backside of a fake rock like that is wood and just an open fiberglass shell. The rock is just the rock, so it's just open.
Whoa, that's cool.
So yeah, and you've got them all over, and it looks pretty good. The visual was. I don't know how they'd ever in their wildest imagination could tie in that stupid little hill in the back lot to British Columbia or Antarctica, whatever. There's just no way that would ever happen. But anyway, back to what we're doing here. Okay, we erect this 20-foot scaffolding for the camera crew to be on. And what we had were miniature helicopters. They were probably about 10 to 12 feet long. They were decent-sized miniatures. but they were radio controlled helicopters. And what they thought they were going to do with this is the helicopter was going to fly around chasing the dog, and what they hoped to do was hit the tail rotor on one of the rocks, and the tail rotor would break off and crash and explode. Okay, that was this is, like I said, this is before principal photography, so this is just all conceptual idea. Let's try to put this together and see what we can do. So we've got all this elaborate setup. All these people were all ready to do this, and they're prepping the first helicopter. And they get it up in the air, and it looks really good. John's asking them to fly it around, to see if it looked like a real helicopter flying. And he wanted to get it down close to the hilltop too. He wanted to get it cresting over like that. So that first helicopter, on trying to crest over the hill, hooked a pontoon in one of those empty backed rocks and crashed the helicopter. Boom, gone. First helicopter is down, and they didn't even roll a single frame on that one. And that was, of course, number one helicopter was the best of the three. So we just crashed the best of the three helicopters. All right, so we're to helicopter number 2. Now, in order to get the tail rotor to break off right at the precise place they want the tail rotor to break off at, they mount a little explosive squib right in the little back part of the tail rotor there, and tie it in. And electronic squibs are set off by radio wave. So they're prepping the helicopter, and something fires the squib, and the tail rotor blows off the second helicopter while it's still on the ground.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh.
So, needless to say, they didn't get a single frame shot of that one either. So now we're getting to number 3. This is the last one, folks. This is it, So the guy gets it all prepped up, gets it all nice, makes sure nobody's got a radio within miles. No, they don't want it to set off. So they get this thing up, and they start flying it around, and it's like listing. It doesn't look like it's really flying. It's kind of spewing the little gas oil mix that the thing burns. It's kind of coming out the exhaust, and it just doesn't look good at all. And John looks at the guy and says, how come this is looking so bad? And he says, we weren't supposed to get to number 3.
Oh, God.
So John just turns around, leans against the rail at scaffolding, and looks at everybody and says, okay, folks, that's a wrap.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
And that was it. And I swear, I was surprised the effects crew wasn't fired right then. Seriously. I mean, like I said, I've seen times when, and it's been an effects crew, because it's usually a special effects that goes bad. And if it goes bad, and that really went bad, he can just say, bye. I don't want you to work on this. And it was before. It wouldn't have been a big deal because you were before principal photography anyway. So, but we kept our jobs, and we made up for it. There were some really great effects that we were very successful with, but that one, wow. Stuart Cohen, to this day, Stuart Cohen says that was a $40,000 mistake.
Oh, jeez.
That's what he called it.
And that's 40 years ago. Whew.
And and I would probably guarantee it was probably a little bit more than that. I think he's being nice when he says 40 grand. I mean, we worked for almost a full month prepping that hill.
Wow.
That was just the advance work, and then to get everybody up there, the whole camera crew and everyone oh boy, it's a big production. That's why they say it. So, yeah.
Hey, Vaughn, so did they actually ever get to use any of the miniature footage? Because in the movie itself, it looks like it's all live.
Yeah.
No, it's all. I
Wow.
mean, you can tell. Yeah, yeah. They didn't use a bit of that. No. As a matter of
Ooh,
fact, I
wow.
asked Stewart. He did say that there was a little bit of footage shot on the third one because it was the only one that they really had the camera ready to take film. You know, they were
Wow.
just yeah. It was just such incredibly bad. You know, I've seen some pretty bad mistakes before, and that took the cake. That was a
Oh,
big one.
wow. So these so some of these shots that so the helicopter that blows up in in the movie itself, is that what is that?
That's just a full size mock up
Oh,
that they
wow.
Oh,
blew
really? A
up on.
full size
Yeah,
mock up?
yeah, sure.
Oh, wow.
Like Jaws 2, you know,
Yeah.
um, when the shark eats the helicopter. I mean, we had a real helicopter that flew in and everything, but we had our mock up helicopter. It was basically held together with pop rivets and hot glue gun, grip tape.
Yeah. It only needs to
Oh,
hold up for a
wow.
little bit.
Yeah,
You
just
know,
enough.
yeah, exactly. You know, and they'll generally they'll have a shell of whatever it is that they need to blow up, and then blow up the shell. You know, plenty of
Were
Night
you
Rider
in on
cars
that
are
one?
that way.
Oh, yeah.
I was not, no, because I didn't go up to the location. I was
That
still
was in
Okay.
down in
British Columbia, right?
yeah, yeah. When they were shooting all the exteriors up in British Columbia, I was at Heartland with Botine's crew.
Okay,
So,
gotcha. Gotcha. So how much of that stuff was actually on location? I would imagine that maybe a third or a quarter of it.
well, you know, I think the location really was about a month, and we
Oh,
shot
okay.
5 months on the lot at Universal. So
Wow.
there was, just look at it this way: every interior shot is on a stage.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, if you're in a room, like all this stuff that's outside right there, that's all in British Columbia. That's all happening in British Columbia. But the minute they
Okay.
walk inside a door, then you're on a stage. You're on a sound stage.
And I would imagine, Vaughn, that some of those shacks were obviously going to be reproduced on this one of the big sound stages too, if they had to do any of that extra work, or was all that outside as well?
Yeah, that's all outside. I mean, all of the interiors, the principal photography was done by the time they went to British Columbia.
Oh,
So
wow, that's
you
interesting.
see all this. This was all done on a soundstage at Universal, right there. There,
Gotcha.
we're on stage 27, right there.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
you know, it changes in the blink of an eye. You know, obviously we did have like the interior of where you exited the compound, where all the jackets were hung on hooks, which we've talked about before. but the door would open and you would just have a small exterior that's all flocked, and then you would cut to the exterior shot where they're walking outside in British Columbia. So it's a constant juggling, you know, constant editing between exteriors and interiors. But most of the action happens inside, you
Inside,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh, that's
kennel,
so
all the
cool.
basement scene, all that, you know, everything's being shot on a stage. The autopsy, the even the blown out Norwegian camp. Um, you know, that the ice floor, and when they find the Swede who's cut himself, I sent you that picture too,
Yeah.
of Gunnar, our chief mold maker, our sculptor, our head sculptor, that they sculpted as a throat cut Norwegian. That's I almost said Swede. He's not Swedish. He's Norwegian.
There you go.
I
You
think
got it?
Gunnar was Swedish though. There he
Oh, there we
is.
go.
That's yeah.
Oh, oh
See,
boy.
that's so. Look at him. I mean, you can see the shape of his nose. That's him. You know, that's
Oh,
definitely
yeah. Oh,
he
wow.
was. He was excited about it, and it turns out he was one of the the sculptors on Jaws 2. Also, I found a picture of him working in Pensacola sculpting the orca that gets chewed up by the shark.
Oh, my
Oh,
And
God.
cool.
I never knew that, but that's yeah. Since I obviously connected with him on the thing, I found out that he was out there in Navarre as well, which is really very cool.
Interesting. Vaughn,
Great
we
guy.
got a question from
Okay.
one. It came up on the chat. Michael Einhander, thank you for joining us live. Any stories about the detached head with the spider legs?
Well, Charlie, yeah, Charlie Hallahan, R.I.P., was a really great guy. Boy, he put up with a lot of abuse. We talked about how he was lying inside of the table that he's supposedly laying on, and a fake prosthetic body is above as it splits, as the chest splits open and bites off the doctor's hands.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
so when the duct monster blows out his chest and goes up to the top, everybody's all focused on the duct monster, while Charlie's head rips himself off. Now that was one shot where there's somebody inside the table that's holding the mechanism that's controlling Charlie's head on the outside, ripping it off the body, and
Oh,
there's a slit in the rubber. What they make the table out of a hard rubber, and then make this slit, so the mechanism is thin enough to go through that slit, and you don't see that in the table. So
oh,
that's what's moving the head. And while the head is moving, you've got other guys on toggle switches, and those toggles are rolling the eyeballs, and they're making the eyebrows, and they're squeezing cheeks. Everybody's on a freaking toggle, and they're all making all these different facial things happen, all while another guy is ripping the head off. In fact, I think he was on a little cart, and they pushed him, because they did a lot of that. The dog thing was like that. Somebody'd be controlling the creature, and then he'd be on a little cart that would have wheels, and they'd push him forward as he's bursting out the chest. It was
oh
great stuff.
boy.
And the licking tongues are the same kind of thing. What they have little descending balls that go right down the center of the tongue, and they drill holes in the top and centers and edges and put cables through them. And so when you lengthen one side of the cable and you shorten the other one, it makes the tongue lick down. And you pull it the other way, and it makes the tongue lick up. So you've got this thing that's all writhing around, and he's controlling that, while a guy is
Oh,
equally
those little
controlling
things.
the eyeballs in the same way. you know See,
Oh
so now
boy.
here's the creature. He's blowing up. That's the duct monster. He's a great guy too. I love him. Now there's
Oh
someone
boy.
in the duct who's got his hand in that guy, in Charlie's head. So that's a hand puppet. That's a
Oh
hand
wow.
puppet. Somebody's above that, and he's created. Yeah, okay. And see, now there's a guy under the table that's controlling him, and one guy's controlling that little tongue, and then everybody's controlling something, while these they're all distracted. So this
Oh
rips off
man.
beautifully. So cool.
Oh
And
boy.
they tried to keep, it's funny because they tried to keep some of the colors surreal. Instead of making it quite so red blood, everything red blood, they were trying for a little more favorable rating that way too, to make it
Oh.
green and purple.
Yeah, you wouldn't think
And
that, but I guess in 1984.
Oh wow.
and see, now this is the same kind of thing. If you look down at the bottom of his head, there's a slit in between, and that's where the mechanism is holding the head as it lowers down. That
Interesting.
mechanism, he's inside that, behind that wall there, holding the head. And again, you've got another 5 or 6 guys all moving his mouth and his eyes, and things are moving around.
Oh, that's
Then he
so
gets
cool. Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, so he's still burning the duck monster there. Now we're on the floor, and the same type of thing happens. Now this is a reverse film. This one, that's just an air hose that's painted red. It's got latex on the outside of it, and we're pressurizing it with air. So it's just kind of whipping its way around, kind of the way a slip, or whatever those, not the slip and slide, but that other thing that you
Oh,
just
the
put on
air.
the end
Yeah,
of your
the
hose.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, see, so that started tied and then pulled, and the air made it whip around until they sucked it back into Charlie's head, and then they reversed the film footage so it comes whipping out of his head, out of his mouth, and locks onto the table and starts again another division in the tiles there, and somebody's underneath moving that head forward. Each one of those is another major setup. Every one of those is an extensive. That's why it takes so long to do these things, because each one of those is, and it has to be lit perfectly, Dean. That so much it works hand in hand with one another to make this stuff look real. That's so good.
Oh yeah,
that's just the whole sequence right there. I mean, I don't know anything in film really that kind of compares to that. It's so unusual. It's so unique.
So Kurt Russell looks like he's actually shooting a flamethrower.
Oh yeah, they were. Oh sure, they were real flamethrowers. Sure, when
Oh
there
my
were.
God.
No
Oh
doubt.
boy.
You see, now this is all reverse as well. We start with the head with everything out, and then we start sucking the stuff back in, one at a time. Eyes come back in, the crab legs come back in. And so when they come out, I mean, they start adding the sound effects. I don't know, it just looks better that way.
So cool. You kidding me? Wow.
Yeah.
So Chris, you have some pictures that Vaughn sent us over. I really hope we can get some comments on some of that stuff. If you get a chance, you can maybe bring some of those up, and Vaughn can comment on them. I don't want to waste those. Those are really cool. Oh yeah, here we go.
Well, that's the child's jacket that I liberated.
Does that still exist amongst your collection?
Yeah, well, it's not with me anymore. I've kind of bequeathed it to, or licensed it to Joe Hart and Thing Nation. He's one of the collectors. He's up in Canada. In fact, it was that organization that sponsored me up to the Comic-Con. And,
interesting.
And so now, it was funny. In my conversations with Joe, we were talking about things, and the crew jacket is something that's extremely personal. And I've spoken to my kids, and they really want it to stay in the family, and I don't really want to sell it.
Yeah.
But this particular jacket, not that I was looking to get any kind of payday on it at all. I don't care. But I really felt like it sat in my closet for 35 years, and there's a world of fans out there that want to see everything they can about the thing.
Yes.
And ironically, I had no clue what jacket I was grabbing at the time. I was just grabbing a great Arctic jacket, saving it from its fate, its gasoline-fueled fate.
Right.
Well, because it gets so cold in LA, you need a jacket that thick.
Well, now I've packed through the Grand Tetons, my friend, and I've been a few places where you can use a jacket like that. So, but you're right. Yeah, I don't need it in LA, and that's why it sat in my closet for 35 years. But we discussed it, and in the long run, I viewed the movie again and was really comparing the jacket, and so all of a sudden it turned out it was Child's jacket. And
nice.
There's so much controversy over whether Child's is or isn't a thing at the end.
Yeah.
And part of it is
that was
fueled by the change of jackets.
And that was one of the questions.
Yeah, they have, but they've also said that it could be the same jacket with an ice sheen on it, which I think probably is true, because Joe used to say, "Oh, this is the Holy Grail. this explains the whole thing, and you're responsible, Vaughn. You're responsible for the whole thing." I went, no, Joe, that's not true. I said, first of all, any wardrobe person in their right mind would always have at least 2 or 3 of principal wardrobe for all of those guys. You know what I mean? There had to have been at least 3 of those jackets, and none of the on location stuff had even been shot yet. We only shot. So if they didn't have another one of those jackets, it wouldn't exist in British Columbia. You know what I'm saying?
Makes
So Joe
sense.
was,
Yes, of course.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Joe was just trying. I don't know what was. He just wanted some elaborate story to be able to tell. When it was just me looking for a cool keepsake, is really all it was.
Yeah, it
Vaughn, when
does
you
look
were
like
working,
it does look like it's ice covered there.
no, but Vaughn,
Well, that's null.
That's Knowles, yeah.
when you're working on the when you were working on the
No, it's
project,
Childs
Yeah.
at the very end.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
did you actually get to work with a complete script? Did you have a full screenplay? Like, did you know? Were you able to read through the whole thing from beginning to end? No.
No, I wasn't at the level where I was reading a script.
Okay.
I was, I'm just part of the crew doing what I'm told, basically. So,
Okay.
yeah, it would have been nice to have a script, but we were just working from day to day trying to make things happen,
Right.
and that was
What
pretty tough sometimes.
What's your take on the ending, Vaughn? Because some of our fans are sending up questions, and they wanted you to comment a little bit on the ending, and it was sort of like a mystery. What's your take on that?
Right. Well, I have to defer to the master, and that's John Carpenter. John, in interviews, has said they're both human at the end. And so if John says they're both human, I believe John. So,
That's right.
they talk about whether he has the smoke in his breath, or I don't know. There's so many different controversies about Childs, his eyes, or I don't know. And then the supposedly the JB bottle has gasoline in it and not alcohol. And
Oh,
Oh wow, there's all sorts of
yeah,
fan
there's
theories.
yeah, I know it's so funny. They have to dig deep for these theories, and like I said, hey, if John says they're both human, then that's fine with me. You see, now that very well could be the same jacket with a frost on it.
right.
You see, that's the jacket I'm talking about right there.
Mhm.
When he first
Yeah.
walks up is when they first really see him full bodied, and you can still see the pockets. The cut of the jacket is the same.
Right. So typically, Vaughn, correct me if I'm wrong. Usually, a lot of these things, like extra jackets and the like, sometimes they get sold off, right? I mean, a production company will, they'll just whatever they can, will sell a lot of this stuff off. Correct?
I think they get taken a lot. I know. I hate to say it, but I remember truckloads of stuff going to production designers' houses after a series was done.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. I think I know effects guys that have pretty much supplied their workshops with equipment they bought through production companies.
Right. Being that it was all expensed and it was used, and so, wow, that's fascinating. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So hey, Chris, can you pull up a couple more of those great pictures that Vaughn shared with us? Because I wanted to have some input on. There's definitely a few things there that, Vaughn, what is that?
That's a little patch of Heartland. We talked about Heartland as being the place that they built for the spaceships of Buck Rogers and Battlestar Galactica. It was an off-site, and that's what this is. See, that's why it's got the little fighter in the center there. Universal Heartland Visual Effects.
All right, so those two, one of them looked like a patch, Vaughn. This one is, what is this now? Is this something that appeared on a shirt?
It's just a logo design. I don't know if it was ever on a shirt. I never got to see one of those. I got it after the fact. I found it kind of in a search. But
interesting.
Yeah, I never got one of those because we worked at the facility after the fact. So once when we took it over, it became the thing.
Nice.
It was so cool. See, now
Oh boy.
that's Charlie laying inside the table, and that's a full prosthetic chest and on top of him, on top of the table. That's his arms are real, but not his chest. And I remember in an interview, Charlie said it was really freaky for him to look down, and he knows his hair pattern on his chest, on his body, and he said it was very strange to look down and see how accurate
Oh
they
wow.
had stippled his hair in.
Wow. Oh,
I
that's pretty
know, that's
cool.
great.
Oh
You
boy.
see, that's
So
you can
Vaughn,
see
what
now.
oh, oh yeah. Oh, look
I
at
was going to
that. I was
say,
going to ask.
yeah, you can
Go
see
ahead.
right
Go ahead.
around that. That's kind of a web that's connecting his throat down to the chest to try to seem like it's more of a on the same plane, on the same physical plane. You can kind of
Yeah.
see it's a little discolored, so they haven't really married it in with makeup yet. They'll come in with an airbrush and really get the tone of that right, so it just goes right
Huh.
into his chest. You can see
Wow.
now the next shot, the full one. He's ready for camera at that point. This one is still not quite ready,
Hmm.
but
Wow.
they have the convenience of also having that jacket cover his shoulders, so you don't really see any kind of an angular difference to the way his body is lying. And those are gelatin. That's Jello without the sugar.
Oh wow.
They're poured into the mold, red gelatin, and then they're painted with an airbrush, the flesh tone, and then they stipple in the hair, and those are the arms that get bit off. They get attached to the double amputee who has to envision his arms getting bit off.
Oh.
Ow!
Oh
Talk about a
boy.
head trip.
Oof. Oh my God. Oh dude, that's
I
nuts.
know.
That's
It is
twisted. Who would
nuts.
have thought of that? Oh
I
my God.
know. So now this one
Oh
is a
wow.
real piece of art. This is he now is laying on the table. We've talked about that before too. That this is an actual appliance that was hand sculpted. This ripped open orifice is hand sculpted, and then a mold is made of the sculpture, and then they make a foam latex appliance. So that's just a big body that they then glue down to his actual body. You can see on the table in front there, next to that cup, there's little makeup
Oh
pots
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those are all just little makeup thingies, and they can work and blend those tones together. That
How'd
looks
they make
pretty
the
good.
teeth on that thing? Was it like a puppet?
That's just sculpted. No,
Okay.
it's just hand sculpted. Oh yeah.
But the teeth that
They
came together and ripped the arms off.
oh yeah. Well, now see that doesn't look anything like that.
Yeah.
You see, I do have criticisms of this movie that I don't necessarily share, but yeah, I mean the thing that opens up to bite the arms off looks nothing like this,
Right.
and you
Yeah.
get to see this for a second, but then the next shot, it's a different sculpture altogether. It's
Yes,
very
that's right.
smooth and rounded, and then hoses come shooting out of his belly, and that's when the duct monster blows its way out. So
Right.
it's constantly morphing into something different. I think that's how they kind of get away with one shot not really matching the other because it's always in
It's so fast.
a
Yeah.
state of flux. Yeah, it's always changing. So it really doesn't matter. It doesn't really have to continuity have to match perfectly. So
Oh
uh,
boy. Oof. Yeah, that's
yeah,
oh, there
I
it
know.
is. Ah,
Yeah, that doesn't look anything like that. That looks like
that
it,
looks
but
Now
better.
that's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. See now all the close-ups are Richard Dysart, but when you get to that one scene when he's falling back and he's waving the nubs, oh man, that's
Oh.
the double amputee, and he's got a facial appliance that makes him look like the doctor.
Oh
It's
wow.
so
That's cool. Oh no. Yeah. And here it comes. Oh my God, this is cool. Yeah, we were watching this
yeah,
just before we came on live, This is
Yeah.
incredible. Boom. And he's going to, yep, and the chest cavity is going to just boom.
Yeah, you see now that just rips up. You can see when it rips open, it's almost a straight cut, and the teeth are down below. Now that last chest you saw just for a split second, you see it,
Yeah,
and it looks nothing like this one here. That's
right,
all the rounded lips that are kind of
Right.
laying
right.
over. But
Oh boy.
again, it is in a state of flux. That's so cool. He's so great.
So Vaughn, what
You know, yeah,
put you on the spot. That clip that we
sure.
just saw, you were there.
Yeah, yeah.
Where
I was
where
there.
exactly where exactly did you like where like you were behind a camera? This is what I was getting at. Like, were you behind a camera? Were you like where were you watching
No,
that
I'm a
particular?
yeah. I'm a toggle switch.
Oh, okay,
I'm not watching this from the front. I'm
okay.
I'm controlling a toggle switch.
Oh, oh
So
wow.
yeah, yeah. That's that's what it took. 46 guys to control the final creature,
Oh wow.
Oh, see, that's
the
interesting.
final
So,
glare monster that blows its way out of the floorboards,
oh
and his
wow.
head splits open. It took 46 individual people to make that whole creature come to life. And
See now.
everybody's doing something, an arm or an eye or a facial
Oh,
or the jaws or the dog that comes out or the dog's motions. Everybody's working something.
oh,
So,
see,
you
this
know,
this is fascinating because we just take it for granted watching it, right? And trying to picture. All right, so I guess Vaughn was standing over on the side and he's, I don't know, doing something. But see, this is interesting. This is something that you take for granted, but we're interested. We want to know about this. So you were actually, you didn't get to see this happen. You were just seeing a small. You were controlling something behind the scenes and saw this
exactly.
way after.
Right.
Oh,
You see, now, obviously, the more extensive a creature is, the more people it takes.
right.
Now, say something like the Windows. When Windows is grabbed by Palmer's head and then he's thrown down into the corner. Now, obviously, that's a dummy that's all covered with gel, and they're going to torch him. In fact, yeah, they do torch him, and his legs are still kicking.
Right.
Well, there's one guy behind the wall who's just pulling two bars that are attached to his legs, and they're making his legs kick. So it only takes
Okay.
one guy to animate that creature.
Right.
So the rest of the crew could be milling around and watching this. And as a matter of fact, I mentioned the third body burn. I was up in the permanent. I mean, I was up in the grip beds. The
Right.
first
Right.
two, I was on the outside of where the balsa wood wall is that he busts through on a fire extinguisher. So
Oh.
the first two shots of that, I was on fire extinguisher. And the third
Oh.
shot,
Wow.
somebody else covered me, and then I got to go up to the grip beds and watch it from above. So we kind of take turns that way. Crewmen kind of cover for each other that in that respect.
Oh. See,
So
that's totally fascinating. Totally cool. Did you get to see dailies? Were there? Did they do screenings or anything like that?
unfortunately, no. No, that was
Okay.
a luxury I had in Jaws 2. I got to see dailies because they'd ship them back to Hollywood and they'd come back in 2 days later and they'd show them
Uh-huh.
on the theater screen at the Holiday Inn. So everybody could
Nice.
go in and watch dailies. So I saw actual scenes when I knew I was opening and closing the jaws of the shark because I saw
Oh.
it on film. Yeah. So I know
Oh.
exactly the
Wow.
shots that I was, that was really cool. If I could have seen dailies of this movie, I would know, like specific things that I did that ended up on film. But there
Gotcha.
is
Gotcha.
there is one thing, the kennel, the corner of the kennel that I did.
There's
That was
the
Oh.
actually
floor.
my shot. Well, this was one of the effects that I say we redeemed ourselves because that was just a perfect effect. That we called it the turtle shell, and it was on a cart underneath those floorboards, and start the motion on the turtle shell, and it had a ram on it that shoved that turtle shell up through the floorboards on cue. So you'd start the motion and you jack that thing through those boards, and it'd just be knocking boards left and right until we sucked it back down, and then he disappears again. And that was just such a great scene. we set that up and shot it, I think, 3 times before lunch. Yeah, you see that whole line? I've got a great picture of that. I had to have a picture of it to have continuity so we could put it back to 1 after we shot it. Because that's, look at what we're doing to it. That whole set is screwed up. We had to put it back to 1 twice and get it shot, and we did it before lunch. So we were very efficient on this. I was really proud of that.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, man.
Now that stuff is, I think the tentacle there is CGI.
Okay.
This is a real creature. See, now I'm telling you, 46 guys are controlling this thing. I've got a picture of it too. It's on a stanchion that's like 8 feet up, and it's like 10 foot tall anyway. So it's this huge 18-foot structure. And underneath, you had to have enough clearance for all of our bodies to be. You see, every motion is one guy moving something.
Nice. Is there someone coordinating? Vaughn, did you have was there one guy directing, or were you guys just doing your thing independently?
Well, no, I mean, the action starts, and Botine is kind of, he's directing the animatronics. So he's kind of, the creature comes up and starts to do this and that, and then the dog starts forward, so they try to methodically have these things occur in a chain of events, and it lengthens the shot too, gives them more to work with as it's moving and changing, and but the dog comes out, you can see it kind of moves around, and so it keeps progressing until he throws the stick of dynamite at him and blows the heck out of it.
Oh, boy, that's cool. That is so cool. Chris, what do you got?
He's got the kennel there.
I got the kennel, which is what you were talking about before.
Yeah, put it up. There you go.
Well, that's Jed, who they say was a great, maybe the best actor in the movie. But once you get down to this, okay, he's sitting. Now, this is a fake dog. Now,
fake what?
It's a real Malamute. It's a Malamute hide. They actually had runs that they went to taxidermists and looked for Malamute hides, because that's an actual Malamute hide, and it's cut in 4. Everything is pretty much cut in 4. So there's a fiberglass skull that they sculpted that the hide is attached to here.
Whoa!
And that's what splits open, and so that's the fiberglass skull that's covered with the hide that splits open, and then of course the tongue is released. We talked about how the tongue licks around, and those are also in reverse order. They're air charged hoses that they suck down back into the dog. So that's a full on. We called him the meat hole dog.
My God!
That's what they called him, the meat hole dog.
Oh, wow.
And so we're coming up to my shot here. The dog who lays in the corner, and he gets wrapped up in the tentacles. I had to actually build a section of the kennel. It was a corner section, the 2 walls and the floor. And it had to hang upside down, so it really had to be structurally sound. And I had to have metal eyes that hung upside down from block and tackles. And then the dog was mounted up in the corner and wrapped up in these tentacles, just wrapped really tight, all this, and KY jelly the crap out of him. And we suck him up into the corner, and then they say action, and everybody grabbed a tentacle. These were all hard rubber tentacles. It's no foam rubber here. These are all hard rubber tentacles. So we grab the tentacles and run with them. As we run, the rubber stretches and stretches and stretches, so it thins. And as it gets skinnier and skinnier, it starts to release from the dog, and all that KY jelly, it starts to slip away and sucks away. And then you have the dog all by itself. So they shot it and then reversed the photography. So you look at it, and it looks like these tentacles just dive into the dog and wrap him up, and you have the terrible little whimper sound. And that's my little special set.
Oh, that is incredible.
I know
so
for a fact.
So cool. So I think we're coming. Yeah. Ooh.
See, now that is another hand puppet. That's Stan Winston is underneath the set. Stan Winston, man, awesome guy. And that's his arm, and that's just a hand puppet. Isn't that awesome? It was beautiful.
It is.
I think that's what was the inspiration for the duck monster too. Is they said, wow, that worked so great. I think they decided that they wanted a hand puppet, the duck monster. Here he is. Here he is. Now watch.
Oh my God.
See? And that's number one. And like I said, then you pull and pull and pull and pull and pull and pull, and then those tentacles finally release from him and reverse that footage and go backward.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think they said the ASPCA came and made sure that we weren't harming any dogs in the making of this movie.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh, wow. That is incredible stuff.
Yeah, it was.
See,
like this one got people that when he was like, "Oh my God, you shot the dog." No, that was not a real dog.
Oh,
would not
wow.
do that to a real dog.
Of course. Oh boy. That's something. This is so cool.
You know, I had some conceptual drawings too of just the ideas that they were coming up with, and they really came close to the final dog creature with the thing with the eyes, and then this guy here. It was amazingly similar to the concept design, and that's tough because what you can draw, you can't necessarily make. You know, that's the limitation. And so the challenge is to get as close to those creative images that the illustrators draw as you can. You know, that work, that can actually.
That's function. A lot of KY.
That's a lot of KY. We had 55-gallon drums of KY.
Whoa!
And we had all kinds of colors that you'd mix. Oh my gosh, it was iridescent blue and pearlescent. Oh my, it was just amazing.
Oh, wow.
We would fill water fire extinguishers so we could just high pressure that stuff anywhere. That was what was blowing into those dogs right there. Is they're just water fire extinguishers. You fill it with KY and pressurize them, and then shoot the stuff, and it's amazing.
Huh.
Good Lord!
Oh boy!
It's amazing what you do to get shots.
You know,
this is all
special effects is really like the master of all trades. The more diverse you are, you can literally use anything in the world to achieve the effect that you want. And it's just, you know, the most creative effects men are the ones that really can think on their feet and come up with things that'll work as other things. You know, it's really,
of course,
incredible.
This is amazing right here. It just reminds me of spaghetti.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. That's nasty. Oh boy, I'd be shooting that too. If that was in front of me, I'd be shooting it. Holy!
I guess that's two. That's a hand.
I know.
I bet
It's
you
like
right
Childs. How can you not be blowing that thing away already?
Whoa! We had to get the shot.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Oh man. Yeah, light that up. No kidding. Oof.
There's a lot of fire on this set.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
I mean,
and you know who Roy was?
Go ahead.
You remember Roy, Flash Arbogast?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. With the flamethrowers and everything on the set.
I think he might have been maybe a little bit obsessed with fire. No.
Oh boy.
I'm surprised, you know, and you wonder how you don't catch an entire set on fire.
On fire, yeah.
I mean, how does it not get away from you?
You
With
know,
that
you
much
have
flame.
there's always fire inspectors on your set. Anytime you do any kind of pyrotechnics, you have to have someone from the fire department there. And
Right.
you know, you're on top of everything. It's just it's
That's
just what you
incredible.
do. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you saw those pictures last time with the big bad mama and blowing up that building.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, you know, and we were in a place where we were so out in the open, and
Oh,
it didn't,
this is
you know, we
nasty.
didn't really affect anything. Yeah, so I just love those creatures.
Whew. Look at
This
that
is this
mess.
is one of the things for reality's sakes. Um, Botine, they went to a butcher shop and actually
Whoa.
purchased boxes of cow entrails, of actual cow entrails. So these aren't things that they made in the shop. That they're well, I take it back. He's going to pull. I think this may be the dog creature he pulls out. But when they do the original autopsy on the split face, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, this is the dog.
Oh boy. Oh man. This is special. Woof.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Again, you
yeah.
know, I have to say, and I touched on it a little bit, but I didn't really go into detail last time. That this really was the most creative crew I'd ever worked on. You know, you had Botine and his guys that would go talk about their visual ideas with the illustrators, and Michael Plug and Mentor Hubner were, you know, like seasoned Marvel comic book illustrators. These guys could draw just amazing things. And so they would draw the interpretation of what Rob's visions were, you know, which is just crazy. And then
Yeah.
it would get passed on down to the sculptors, and then the sculptors would have their hand on it and talk about their incredible talents. Oh my God. And then they had to make molds of all the creatures that they created. And then the foam latex, that's an art in itself. You know, by the Berman boys, I told you, Rob Berman and Dale Brady, who were from the Berman studios, they came as specialists in foam latex rubber. And they worked exclusively on making all the foam appliances. That's all they did. Because
Wow.
you had to be in a special temperature controlled room, and you had to have mixing bowls and mix it a specific length of time. It just was crazy, the formula that went into making foam latex rubber. And then they designed, because we were making such huge appliances, they hadn't made appliances that large before. They actually designed like a big tubular hypodermic needle that it was just gigantic, and they would drill holes into the mold, and they'd fill this tube up with the foam latex and inject it into the mold. And as it would reach places, it would come out the weep holes, so they know that they got into every aspect of the mold. It was just crazy.
That's
Wow.
And that was just
amazing.
the foam latex. You know, there was rubber, and there were other fiberglasses and other things they made stuff with. Um, some stuff had to be cured in kilns for periods of time. It was, you know, just like I say, just the most creative. And then that was just the makeup effects guys. The mechanical effects guys were off in their own little room, and they're making like the Charlie head armature with the eyeballs that are rolling and the eyebrows, and all these little mechanisms all go onto an armature that then the foam latex goes over and gets glued down to all these little things that then move and make all these motions happen. And
Wow.
it's intense stuff, you know, and they're great. They're artists in their own right, these mechanical guys who got to put all these little, like I said, you know, the eyeballs, they have the, like I said, with the tongue, you have a top cable and a bottom cable and a left cable and a right cable. And you can make the eyes roll by lengthening and shortening the cables on either
Oh my
side.
gosh.
Wow. Wow.
It's
Hey,
intense.
so
There's so
Vaughn,
much involved.
did did you ever teach? Did you ever actually teach this stuff?
No, no, never did.
You
Yeah.
seem like you
Well,
have the
you know,
passion for it.
I love art and film and music. You know, I my back here behind me, that yellow album. Oh, I keep blocking it. There it is. That yellow album is one of my father's albums. He not only
Nice.
played on it, but he produced it as well. And
Oh, that's
so
excellent.
music and film go hand in hand, and I just love both. I am very passionate that way.
Yeah, it just
Love,
seems
love.
that, I mean, correct me again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have not written any books or anything, have you?
No, I haven't. No, I mean I've been a
Wow,
part of some.
right.
There's a book out called The Making of Jaws 2,
Okay.
and there was actually a first printing that had come out, and I saw the first printing, and I networked with the guy who wrote it, Michael Smith, and he had been networking with so many other people from Jaws 2 that he wanted to do a second printing. And so he devoted like 28 pages of interview and pictures that I took. Because on
Yes,
Jaws 2,
excellent.
I know it's so cool. I was so honored by that. But on Jaws 2, I think I told you, I actually carried a 35 millimeter camera around with me. So I was able to take some really nice behind the scenes, like shark burn shots, and I got a shot with the skeleton and of the shark itself, and just some really cool shots that I wish I'd had a camera on the thing that I could have done the same thing, but oh well.
Oh, wow. No, but
That would have
that's
been
exactly
so
what I was
cool.
getting at. That's the type of thing that, for posterity's sake, this is so cool. And the work that you did on it and the passion that you still have for it, it deserves being, put somewhere like here on our show. And that's why we put it out. And, we want everybody else to enjoy the passion that you have for this. I mean, we're all sci-fi fans of, one scale or another, and you're a professional that brought this stuff to life. And that's what we really appreciate, Vaughn. And that's why we like having you on the show. We love having you come back, and you sharing your intimate moments of the artist at his best, I would say, creating and making and working and, behind the scenes and all that. That's what, a lot of the fans, as you know, that's what they want. They want this. They want you and they want your stories. And that's why we really appreciate you coming out and taking the time. Um, do you have the crew jacket?
Oh, I'll have to be gone for just a second. Can you wait a minute? I'll be right back.
Of course, yeah.
Take me just a second.
Oh
Okay.
boy. See now, I mentioned this earlier, Chris, and Vaughn shared the fact that he still had his crew jacket with him
Right.
from the production of the thing, and we had asked him to kind of share it with us. So I think he's back. There it is. There you go. There you go. And oh boy. Oh man, is that like a red? Oh,
Yeah,
look at that.
it's like a rust color, and then
Yeah.
my initials, Yervant Harry
Oh,
Babasin,
cool. So,
and
uh, oh wow. So Vaughn, when do you get something like that? Do you get it at the end or not? Not at the beginning, right? It's at the end of the production.
right. Yeah, it's in fact this was the only time somebody asked me if we got anything for Jaws 2, and we didn't.
Oh
I
boy, that,
finally
come
realized that we
on,
didn't.
man. Oh, look at that.
It still fits.
Yeah, there you
Yes, it
go.
does. Yeah,
So
Dean Cundy
cool.
told me he was jealous of me because I could still fit in my jacket. I said, "Yeah, Dean Cundy's jealous of me for anything."
Look at that. Outstanding, man. Oh, so cool.
I love
So
it.
would you be lending that out to the collectors or is that something that you
Well,
would not?
like I said, I talked to my boys about it, and they really want it to be here.
Right.
Stay with the family. And
Sure.
I'll tell you, I kind of almost regret letting go of the child's jacket.
Yeah.
I mean, I really appreciate sharing it with the fans, but
Yeah.
um, it's whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm
Vaughn,
just
there's ways of doing like, lending it for X amount of time so that it would come back, but that at least, if they were going to do it and give it justice, that it would have, you'd have a little bit of, I could see something like maybe, the Museum of Moving Image, if they had a special on, the thing, and they were doing a 40, and they had it on display for like a few weeks and then return it to you. I think that would be kind of cool, just because the movie deserves it, you deserve it. I mean, the crew that worked on it, and it's a piece of film history. It's very cool, and so thank you for sharing that, man.
Of course. Maybe when the 50th anniversary rolls around.
There we go. All right. Yeah,
There you
that'll
go.
work.
I'm going to be there.
Sure.
I'm going to be
Well,
there.
of course you are. Vaughn, you mentioned that you've done conventions. Is there anything in the future that might be, you related to
Not really.
doing shows?
It seems ironic that I was flown to London, Ontario, Canada, when like Monsterpalooza is in my backyard. But there are more crucial crew members than I.
Nah,
So yeah, well,
I
it is
disagree.
what it is.
Disagree.
I really appreciate the fans that have appreciated my stories, and that's great. And it was a wonderful experience to fly up to Canada, and I would certainly participate in anything like that. The Cineplex thing is pretty exciting too. I'm very excited about that, and with more and more exposure, maybe there will be a chance for me to take more part in that.
Oh yeah, the
genre.
unsung heroes of
It'll
the
be fun.
making of the movies. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Um,
it's funny because the fans hear, like you said, the actors and the directors, they hear those stories all the time,
right.
but they rarely hear, the thing under the set that blows its way through the boards, and they don't hear that because actors don't share those kind of stories because they're not even aware. They're just part
Right.
of the action, and it happens, and okay, well, it happened. That's cool. The special effects guys did it.
Yeah. Well, come
You
on.
know?
So Vaughn, tell us a little bit about what. So the thing 40th anniversary. You're involved. There might be something else coming up. What else what are you slated to do? What's on your agenda? Do you have any projects of your own now that you want to share with us?
Well, as we touched on before, I'm still working on my dad's thing. Um, I'm regularly networking with a jazz professor in Colorado. He's at the University of Colorado at Boulder, and he's a bass player as well. So he really appreciates my father's contributions to jazz, and I can just continue. I find more and more rare albums on eBay all the time, and so I expand my father's discography as much as possible, and catalog everything I can, and so that keeps me busy as well. Um, but he's in the process of writing a book, and
Oh,
I'm working on a documentary. So we're kind of helping each other. I'm collaborating with him on the book, and he will collaborate with me on the film. So that's a positive step forward for me. That's
so
really my life's focus right now. So
keep us in the loop with that. Is it fair to
sure
say,
will.
Vaughn, that you're retired from Hollywood?
Well, if I'm trying to produce a film, I'm not. But I'm
Excellent.
not. Yeah, but I'm not working for uni anymore. That's for
Okay.
sure. And
Okay.
I had done some independent work. Well, what happened when the CGI thing? But I'm
Excellent.
not. Yeah. Um, well, many of my buddies uh, who were trying to survive, they were starting their own little independent special effects companies. So they would get little independent movies, and so I worked on. That's what Big Bad Mama 2 was. I did one called Steel Justice. Can't think of the name. He was the sensei in Karate Kid.
Pat.
Oh,
Anyway,
interesting.
Pat.
yeah,
Oh, what is it? Pat
I
something.
know. That's
The Karate Kid. The
Come on,
sensei?
guys. Let's put it up on the
I
chat.
know.
Let's get it up.
All right. Anyway, I did one called The Boost with James Wood, and well, of course, famously, I did La Bamba, which was the best one
Yeah,
of my post
Morita.
Universal
Pat
movies.
Morita.
Pat Morita.
Oh, not Pat. No, it wasn't. The white sensei, the
Oh,
bad
oh,
guy.
oh.
Um, ba, 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 ba.
Cobra Kai.
He was like, yeah, I can see him, but I can't think of his name.
It'll come to us. Well, we'll see. We put up the challenge. Hopefully, one of
Martin
our
Cove.
there it
Martin
is.
Cove. There you go. That's the
There
one.
we go.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, he was great in it too. He was a real good. He was kind of a Rambo type of character in it, and we blew up cars. In fact, we were in Long Beach, and we blew up a Lincoln Continental, a Caddy limo,
Oh.
and a Datsun 240Z. I know, it was
Oh
so much
wow.
fun, and it was all nighter. So the explosions were happening at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and
Wow.
apparently they had informed the city of Long Beach, but they didn't inform the county fire department. So the fireballs were so big, they went all the way up to the overpasses of the freeway that were above us.
Oh
And the
no.
county fire, yeah, and people called it in, and the county responded, and of course had to pay a heavy price for a response over something that wasn't real.
Oh wow.
Yeah, those kind of mistakes happen a lot.
Oh boy. Well,
You have to make sure you always inform the proper people.
oh
See,
sure.
you were talking about fire. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. I have a good friend of mine who is now retired from the police force. He was making his way to work and noticed that there was what looked like some kind of an armed robbery going on in a diner, and he pulled over and went in, and it was a shoot. And he couldn't tell from the outside, and he was like, "Oh, okay, sorry, NYPD, sorry." But yeah, these things happen, if you don't notify and cordon it off, like you said. But Vaughn, it's always a pleasure to have you here with us on Interfleet Broadcasting. I know that the fans they enjoy it, and we have an open door policy for you. Any projects, any other things that you're doing, whatever it may be, you give us a holler. We would love to talk about some of the other projects like Jaws 2 and some of the other things that you've done as well in the future. So, yeah, I mean, thank you so much for taking the time out and giving us that whole intimate behind the scenes, look into, and you're so passionate about it, and we love it. But thank you so much for taking the time out. And, whatever the projects are that you're doing, please keep us in the loop. And we'd love to have you on again anytime.
Oh, gosh, my pleasure. I love being here. You guys are awesome. Chris?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So look, we do conventions regularly, and we're hoping that at some point you're also involved in some of them. Like you said, there's a bunch of various types, whether they be Comic Cons, which cover everything sci-fi. There are ones that are horror specific. But we're looking forward to. Please let us know if you're going to be making an appearance. We definitely want to plug it. Who knows? Maybe even catch up with you in person. We'd love to do an in person. That would be something. And if you're ever getting out to the East Coast, where the Tipsy Toaster and myself are, please give us a heads up so that we can again meet up with you, even if it's just a few minutes. We'll get a live on the street interview with Von Babasin himself. That would be very, very cool. So this project that you have going on, an homage to your father. You're a musician yourself, so let's not downplay that. But please, again, keep us in the loop with this.
Well, thank you. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I played bass for 45 years.
Yeah, man, that's incredible.
Yeah, I've recorded 10 albums with 3 different groups over my time. And
wow.
And I had not too long ago, I had some Greek heavy metal collector come across one of my old albums from 40 years ago.
Oh boy.
With a group called the RH Factor that I did. Not the RH Factor you'll find. We're way underground. but he found this album, and I had a couple boxes, so he bought them from me so he could bootleg them.
Really?
I had no
No
problem with it.
kidding.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Well, I was actually voted best bass player of 2007 by the International Online Music Awards, and I know it's not the Grammys, but anyone that decided to call me that, I appreciate.
Very cool. Oh, outstanding.
Yeah. And they were
Chris,
located, of all places, they were located in Canada. Isn't that crazy? I'm huge in Canada.
Nothing wrong with that. You take it where you can, man. That's cool. It's the loss of everywhere else if they can't realize, talent when it's there. So, all right, congrats.
Thanks.
So Chris, you got anything, any parting words?
The only thing I have to say is YouTube is taking the video down already. So Facebook has still got it. So
okay.
If you were watching on YouTube, we apologize. Not our problem. That's a YouTube thing. So even though we weren't playing the audio and everything else, YouTube did not like it.
Oh well, that's okay. So we still have our broadcasts on.
Yeah, we're still live on Facebook. So
yep, Facebook.
YouTube is
rocks.
a little bit more.
Oh, so
anal.
they are. Yeah. All right. So we may have to edit out some of the film clips that we put on, even though we sped them up. We didn't use the audio. But that's okay. It is what it is. We'll work around that. But at least we still have the broadcast and the video is up. As a matter of fact, our previous interview with Von Babasin is up as well. Up. So, some of the fans were asking about it. They were chatting up. It's there. I looked it up while we were on the air. It is there. So the past interview, just go look for it. It's interview with Von Babasin. We're approaching 1,000 views on that worldwide, and then this should be up. No questions asked. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Vaughn, again, thank you for taking the time out and sharing your great stories. I'm glad we got a chance to share that with everybody else. And Chris, what?
That's it. I mean, I really appreciate you coming on. Once again, it's been fantastic. We love to hear your stories. They're great, and you learn so much when you listen. When you talk to somebody that was behind the scenes, you learn so much. The air tubes, the KY jelly, all that stuff is just like wow. I would have never known any of this.
Spraying that on all over the place. And,
46 guys.
Yeah, you don't get this information.
There were 46 guys on that.
You get to see the video, and that's it. You're like, oh, wow, it was cool. And the special effects was awesome, but you really don't know what went into play. What everything went in to get to that point for that 5 or 10 or 15-second clip.
I know. Yes, indeed.
I'm
sorry I had technical difficulties. I'm glad we worked that out.
Oh yeah.
Oh heck yeah.
We're always Semper Gumby.
Yes, right.
Flexible.
Hey, John, thanks for watching. So this toast goes out to Von Babasin. Von, thank you for taking the time out. Really appreciate it. So here's to you and all your work. Thank you, and looking forward to the next one. So
you're amazing, sir. Thank you so much.
Anniversary to the thing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, all right. So stay tuned. Take care, Vaughn. Thank you so much. Hey, we told you we were going to revisit that we dedicated the 40th anniversary of the thing, and Von Babasin was so kind to come and take his time out and give us the insights and answer all our questions. Very, very cool, sir. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to our next show as well. And we're going to have Paragon and 501 are both going to be, 501 will be doing our Star Wars update, and Paragon is a licensed company that will be manufacturing various props from various shows that we all love and watch, and we'll be interested in hearing from them direct. So that's going to be cool. So that's coming up. So please stay tuned for that. We expect to be on our regular schedule on Thursday at 8 o'clock. And Facebook is our home. Obviously, we do broadcast on YouTube. And we also have, Chris, we We do cover. I think it's Twitch, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're on Twitch as well. So you can
We're
find us out there,
twitching.
guys.
We're twitching.
Yeah,
We're
we're
Facebooking.
twitching a little bit. But our main platform is of course on Facebook, guys. So stay tuned, and I'm
And
really
tonight
hoping
is a
that
reason
someday.
why.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really hoping that one day we can catch up to Von Babasin in person. I really, really like the guy's a
Oh yeah.
fun guy, and thanks.
And
I really
also,
appreciate him.
we also have coming up. So the Battlestar Galactica game.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what? That's
we've gotten confirmation from them that they'll be on the show. It's
yes,
called the company's called Revolving Games. They own the Battlestar Galactica game platform, and they're
yeah,
doing a new Battlestar Galactica game based on the 2004.
and they will be giving us a exclusive interview.
Yes.
The same goes for Paragon,
Yep.
Galactifrac from France, and author John Raposo. All of those are exclusive interviews. We don't know, they haven't interviewed with anybody else. Chris, do you have a date handy for the Battlestar Galactica game?
Give me 1 second.
I think we locked them down,
Yeah,
and
we
they're
did.
anxious to come on. They were going to bring a bigger crew than we could handle, so unfortunately, we had to scale it down. But they were going to bring in like a whole, like everybody that's directly involved in the design and production of the game. But we're going to have all the main players, and so we're looking forward to that. We're hoping also to get some exclusive imagery from the production of the game, and so please stay tuned for that.
July
Um,
21st.
July 21st. So that's going to be let me just quickly pencil that in. PC game. All right, cool. And, all good things, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being patient with us. And we have more in store. Don't forget that Tipsy Toaster Productions has, well, let me see, how am I going to put this? We have our own fan film, or at least the Tipsy Toaster Productions and G-Force Films with Spartan Red and Fiat Lux are banding together to put together a fan film, an homage to classic BSG, and it's called The Stranded Warrior, and we're putting all of that together as we speak, and it's coming together. We have a prop master is mediocre modeler. We just reached out to some CG guys that are going to be looking at this, and it's all coming together, guys. So we have a lot of projects, from the heart that we're working on to give back, right? So we're lucky
Yeah, we
enough that
figure it's about time
we're
to do some. We've seen all these fan films from Star Trek and everything else. It's about time to
yeah
do 78
yeah
BSG.
yeah. Let's do a 70. Yeah, BSG 78. Nobody else has really done something like this
We'll
on the
throw some.
scale that
We'll
we're.
throw some of
Yeah,
our own money in there, and we may be
yeah.
doing a
Have a little
fundraiser as
fun.
well.
It's all about fun. It's to
Yeah,
showcase some of
yeah. We're not
the
going to make any money
skills.
on it. It's illegal to make money on it.
Right.
So
So obviously, it's not what it's about. It's really just to showcase. We have a fine crew of actors that'll be joining us, and the CG that's going to be in it, and writing and everything else that goes into one of these small productions. So we're looking forward to having some fun with this. So stay tuned for that. But in closing, thank you for tuning in. We love having you on board. Keep clicking the thumbs up. And don't forget to tell your friends about our show. If you want to contact us, our email is info@interfleetbroadcasting.com. Stay safe. Be awesome. See you at the next show. Don't forget to keep the faith. And everywhere around the world, you guys watching us, whether you be in Europe or Brazil or wherever you may be, Asia or Canada, or wherever it is, thank you, thank you, thank you, and looking forward to having you on board at our next show. Chris?
yep. Here's to you, all the fans. As we always say at the closing of the show, fans feel the fleet, and you are the fans, and the fleets are all of the fandoms. So thank you for coming on the show. Hope to see you next week, or actually this week. Hope to see you Thursday. Take care.